Good evening, everyone. Today is July 13th, 2022, and I'd like to open the City of Springfield License Commission meeting to order at 5:31 p.m. First item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for June 22nd, 2022 License Commission meeting. Did all commissioners have an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, changes, corrections?
No.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the June 22nd License Commission meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
I'm sorry, Chairwoman. Everyone who's not speaking themselves, you're getting a lot of I am anyway. Back. If everyone could mute themselves, that would be
Thank you. Okay. And Peter, you second that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
And Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay,
Madam Chair.
First-
I could
yes.
just turn one more minute. Good evening, folks. My name is Alicia Days, and I'm the Director of Licensing for the City of Springfield. As you can see, there are a lot of people here, and we have a very, very, very long agenda tonight. Some things are going to be taken out of order because the matters that are going to take longer of the agenda. So I just ask for everyone's patience that we have matters to be.
Attorney Days, just so that you know, you're coming in broken.
Am I?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Oh, did you? Well, let me repeat. Am I still broken?
No.
Sounds a little bit better now.
Okay, so I think maybe if everyone muted yourselves, it might be the feedback. Is that better at all? No?
Yes.
All right,
Little
so
bit
what I'm
better.
saying is that we have a 3-page agenda. Some items are going to be taken out of order simply because the longer we have to deal with, we're going to try to let as many go as we can. Okay, so just please be patient with us and be mindful of that. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Okay. First item for new petition is a petition for a change of manager for Harmony Lodge, number 140, located at 73 Wilbraham Road. Leon Trium Jr. to Priscilla White for manager of record. Is Leon and Priscilla here?
Priscilla is here. Leon is deceased.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, Ms. White, can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a manager of record? Do you have any experience?
As far as managing, I used to manage a day program at Sunshine Village. But once Leon became manager of Harmony. Are you cutting this one?
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Once Leon Tryman became manager of Harmony Lodge number 140, he became ill and appointed me as his assistant. And I have been managing Harmony Lodge number 140 for over a year and a half.
That is your only experience as a manager of record? As a manager, I should say.
No, I've been a manager for a day program at Sunshine Village for over 12 years.
Well, let me rephrase that. A manager of record for a license, liquor license establishment.
Yes.
Okay. Where do you live, Mrs. White?
I live at 147 Cloran Street in Springfield, Mass.
Okay. How many employees will be selling alcohol? Do you know?
Currently, we have 6 members that are tip certified.
Okay. That was going to be my next question, if they're tip certified or not. Now, you do have their tip certifications?
Yes,
Okay. And you know that you have to keep those tip certification within the establishment and readily available to show to any police officer that may ask to see them.
yes, we do have a folder on file available.
Okay. Now, you do understand that you have to answer, you'll be responsible for anything that happens, any violations that happen while you're the manager of record?
Yes,
Okay, and you accept that responsibility?
yes.
Commissioners, anybody has any other questions for Ms. White?
Just one question, Ms. White. You indicated that you were a manager of record for an alcohol establishment.
I didn't hear that.
And Andrew, you're coming in broken up as well.
So somebody else is talking, right?
And Andrew.
That's not me.
No.
Andy, Main Street, could you turn your mic off?
Okay.
Thank you.
So I was just asking Ms. White, has she ever managed a alcohol establishment as a manager of record?
No, I was just a fill-in assistant for Leon Tryman for a year and a
No,
half.
prior to that, you indicated that you had a date program.
No,
Was that alcohol related to that?
no, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Ms. White, you say that you have been essentially managing the Harmony Lodge for a year and a half. Is that what you're telling us?
No, I was Leon's assistant.
And when did he leave?
Leon passed away in, I want to say in March of this year.
Oh, all right. So in your capacity,
That
what
was
did you do? Did you order
January.
liquor and manage the employees and just all general duties there?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Swan, did I get the month wrong? I thought Swan said he
Yep, I
passed.
believe it was in January or February. I had it written down, but it's on a document that the commission now has, his date of death.
Okay. Okay, any other questions from the commission? No.
No.
We don't have any other questions, then I make a motion to accept the petition for a change of manager for Harmony Lodge number 140 located at 73 Wilbraham Road from Leon to Ms. Priscilla White. Is there a
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, good luck, Ms. White.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Second item on the agenda is a petition for transfer of license. Oh, give me 1 second. For a transfer of license from Allen Street Package Store, Inc. at located at 390 Allen Street. 390 Allen Street LLC, DBA Allen Street Package Store, located at 390 Allen Street, from Leo Bono, manager of record.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Tony Kelly.
How you doing, Madam Chairwoman? So this is, as you read, a transfer of an existing package store at 390 Allen Street that's been there for some time. The proposed managers, the proposed owners, there'll be 3 of them, all at 33 1/3%. That's Joe Sullivan, John Sullivan, and Christian Leeds. All of them are currently already owners of another establishment down the street, Nathan Bell's. So every single person who's an owner here also owns a bar and restaurant down the street. So they are well experienced in this particular field. The proposed manager
Thank you, Attorney Curley. Mr. Bono, if we can just, I know Attorney Kelly did a wonderful job, but if you can tell us a little bit about you and, your experience and what it's going to be like to be a manager of record for a package store.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, I've been in the bar business for 35 years. Security. I was the manager of record at the Orange Cafe in the 80s and 90s. I've worked at ran security for a number of the clubs downtown. Never been a manager of record, but I've overseen a lot of things. And I did work in a package store for a short period of time, One Stop Liquors, about 20 years ago. So I got an idea of what can go on in a package store. I think it'll be a lot easier, to be honest with you, than the actual running of the bars downtown. To be honest with you.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Where do you live, Mr. Bono?
I live 44 Oak Hollow Road, Springfield, Mass. 16 acres.
Okay. Do you know, I know that you're looking to keep all the employees, but you know how many employees you're going to have? How many of them are going to be actually selling the alcohol?
No, I currently don't know how many employees they're carrying right now, but I'm sure I'm going to have how many?
My understanding is, speaking with the people, the ownership, it's in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 that'll be staying, in addition to Mr. Bono.
Okay.
All tip certified, all tip certification will be a condition of employment. You will not be able to step on the premises and work for the first minute without being tip certified.
Great.
I will meet with every one of them before I would take the job too. I would meet with every one of them to see, just to get an idea of, who I'm dealing with.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So you do understand that being the manager of record, you will have to answer to any violations that occur in the property, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you accept that responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any questions? No. Okay, then I make a motion to accept the petition for transfer of license for Allen Street Package Store. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, third item on the agenda is the transfer of license for Anai Inc. to Andy Main Street Inc., DBA Dillon's Package Store located at 754, 758 Main Street. I'm sorry, hi, how are you? Okay, but Vadell? Vidal, manager of record.
Yes, hi, this is Josh Levine from Levine Law in East Long Meadow. I'm representing tonight Andy Main Street, Inc., who's planning on purchasing Dylan's Liquors over on Main Street. And as you said, Shiva Nathan Vadivel is here. He goes by Shiva. And he is the proposed manager of record. He has retail managerial experience. He was a manager of a 7-Eleven for 4 years previously, and currently is a general manager for Great Clips Salons, overseas for Great Clips Salons in the area. And he does not have a license, has not been a manager of record for a liquor license. But the family that will be owning the business, they have a few in the area, including 2 other stores in Springfield, One Stop, and the Crazy Andy's on Boston Road. So they're very experienced and will have a lot of input and training for Mr. Vadivel and getting him up to speed. He is TIPS trained, and everyone who will be at the store will be TIPS trained when he starts and when the record change happens. As I mentioned, the family that owns the other businesses, there's been no issues at any of the stores, no disciplinary actions. I have one in Holyoke as well. Mr. Vadivel plans on spending at least 35 hours a week in the store. And generally there's 2 to 3 employees in the store at a time. And the family that will own the license, that own the store, they may be able to speak on how many employees will be there and if any of them will be staying on. But the current owner is planning on helping with the transition of the store after the purchase.
Okay. Now, what are the hours? You're only going to be there 35 hours?
I'm Andy. Yes, the manager will be there for 38 hours.
38 hours?
Correct.
8 to 11 Monday through Saturday and 10 to 11 on Sunday. And Shiva, if you'd like to speak, you need to unmute yourself, Shiva.
Okay. Okay.
He's muted. Shiva is speaking, but we can't hear him. He's muted.
Shiva, hit the microphone button.
I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I'm willing to put in about 30 to 38 hours. And
So this is not your full-time job?
actually, not really, but I have a lot of time in my job, so definitely 38 hours is a lot of hours to put in. So
It's not a lot of hours for a liquor license manager.
Right. Right.
This should be your full-time job. Especially in that location. It's a very, very busy store in the
Okay.
South End.
Okay. Is there any way you can add more hours? Like 38 hours is like Commissioner Senator said, it's not many hours.
what are you guys looking at? Like something like I can go. Definitely, I have more time in my hands. So
So do
Now-
you have another job or is this your only job?
no, I do have another job,
Oh,
but I always see that mostly it's done remote.
when we appoint someone the manager of record of a licensed premises, we expect that to be their full-time job and not a part-time job. It's a very important position. More important to the commission than who the owner and what the owner is doing. Because
Right.
you're there running the store. I'm
I've experienced-
uneasy with only an answer of 38 hours a week.
Okay. What is your other job? You're not manager of record someplace else, are you?
I'm not.
No? Okay.
His other job is the general manager of Great Clips Salons, and they're in the area, but he's not on site at those. It is generally, that is a remote job. So as Mr. Vadivel said, if he needs to be in the store more, that is possible. We talked about that earlier today. So if the commission would require some certain amount of hours on site, that would be possible.
I think that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for commitment of, more hours. Like Commissioner Singleton mentioned, that is a very busy location. And, I think that a commitment of more hours would probably be better, but that doesn't mean it's just to say you're going to be there more hours and then not be there. We really
Really?
need that commitment.
I understand it's a very responsible job, and I definitely want to make sure that give and take, I get definitely adopt. Yeah.
We haven't had a violation in that store in a very, very long time. And with you taking over only 38 hours a week, if we get violations, selling to a minor is what we normally have in a package store, or a disturbance on the premise, and the report says manager not present, then we're going to have a bigger problem, because the manager should be present, usually during the busiest times, which is not normally the morning.
And you should also be aware that by agreeing to be the manager of record for this location, that you will be responsible for anything that happens in that establishment, whether you are present or not. You will have to come back and, come in front of this commission to answer questions.
Yeah.
Shiva and I had a long conversation today, and I explained this to him. I'm the licensed commissioner in Longmeadow, and we had the same conversation. I've learned a lot from the Springfield License Commission on what to tell managers of record, because you all take this very seriously. And I tell every client I have who's coming in to be a manager of record how important it is, because the manager of record is the corporation can't enforce the law. It has to be the manager of record. Shiva and I had a long conversation about this, and I know he understands, and I know the owners understand, and would not take someone on who's not going to take this seriously.
Any other questions from commissioners? Public input? Okay. I make a motion to accept the petition for a transfer of license, Ani Inc. to Andy Main Street Inc., DBA Dillon's Package Store, located at 758 Main Street. Shivanathan Fadel, manager of record. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Hey, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.
Okay, our next petition for manager of record for Blue Tarp Redevelopment, DBA Essentials, located at 1 MGM Way, Gary Evangelista to Christopher Smigel, manager of record.
Yep, present. I don't have a lawyer here. I don't know if they're supposed to hop on, but it's just me, Chris Smigel. Been on the property since opening. Recently just took over in place of Gary and Abe Abdallah Barry. He was the liquor license for the property as well. So tip certified, been on property for 4 years, been in food and beverage for 20 years. Currently overseeing all of hospitality, which includes service bars, restaurant bars, and any alcohol distribution. In the process of that transfer as well. Unofficially in the role since December, Gary was still here. So my record, I guess, as being in charge of all of this goes back to December of 2021.
Chris, this is just the like sundry store in the lobby,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep, essentials. So just bottled beer, bottled wine.
Okay. Where do you live, Chris?
I live 43 Oak Terrace, Westfield, Mass.
Okay. And how many employees do you have selling alcohol?
At Essentials, it is only 3 in place, 2 full-time, 1 part-time.
And they're all tip certified?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so You do understand, like I said before, that you are responsible for any violations that happened at Blue Tarp, whether you were present or not,
Yes, ma'am.
and you accept that responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. Any of the commissioners have questions?
No.
No. Okay. So I make a motion to accept the petition for a change of manager for Blue Tarp Development. DBA Essentials located at 1 MGM Way, from Gary Evangelista to Christopher Smigel, manager of records. There's a second.
Second,
Commissioner Kay,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. Okay, our last new petition is for a change of manager for our John Boyle O'Reilly Club, DBA John Boyle O'Reilly, located at 33 Progress Avenue, from Brian Christopher to Michael Cornier, for manager of record.
Good evening.
Good evening. Am I speaking with me?
I'm up here. It's under Megan.
Megan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
sorry. How
And
are
you are Michael?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Actually, let me take this off. Is it clear?
Okay.
I can't see now.
So Michael, tell us a little bit about you and your experience as a manager of record.
This is my first position as a manager on record. I've worked years as a bartender. I worked for the Marriott prior to that as a bartender. Also at Kerrigan's in Springfield, which is another bar. But this is my first time as a manager on record.
Okay. Where do you live?
27 Warren Street, West Springfield.
Okay. You said you've never been the manager of record before. You do realize that that comes with a lot of responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know how many other employees are going to be serving alcohol?
Yes, there's 8 others. One of them just actually recertified her tip certification, and 2 I'm in the process of getting through, either doing a class or having them do it online. So all 8 will be done by the end of July.
Okay. And as I mentioned before, you have to make sure that those are readily available, you know, at the
In
bar.
the establishment, yep.
Right, the establishment. Okay. You do understand that you'd be responsible, like I mentioned before.
Yes.
If anything happens, you are responsible. You have to answer to this board. You accept that responsibility?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have questions?
No.
No. Okay, then I make a motion to accept the petition for a change of manager for John Boyle O'Reilly Club, from Brian Christopher to Michael Kerner as manager of records. Your second.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Madam Chairwoman, if I could just interject, and you know, there are numerous items on before this commission for Delecias restaurant. I believe it's probably the majority of our agenda. So
Right.
there is a motion to continue the matters listed on the agenda from Attorney Sean Allen. So if we could just take that up, because I know there are officers on the call and there are witnesses, and I want to be able to let those folks go if in fact you allow the motion.
Okay, and that would be,
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, that's on the final hearing, Attorney Days?
that's correct. And it would be
Okay.
the first final hearing that's listed on the agenda,
Number 1.
correct?
Okay. Okay, so the final hearing for Delecias Restaurant and Catering Corp, DBA Delecias Restaurant, located at 1333 Boston Road, Derrick Crespo, manager of record, incident of October 23rd and October 24th, 2021, failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance. Attorney Days, I believe Attorney Allen is not here today. Is there someone?
That's correct. I believe Delecias is present, though.
Okay. I know.
If I could just pause for a second. If Delecias is present, I'm going to ask anyone appearing before the commission. I know a lot of people just have their names up, but while you are speaking or while your matter is called, I'm going to ask that you appear on screen. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion was forwarded to the commissioners this afternoon upon receipt from Attorney Allen. And the motion is to continue matters listed on the agenda dated July 8th, provided to council on July 13th, 2022. Now comes the licensee through its attorney and moves that this matter be before the board be continued due to the following reasons: lack of notice as to the volume of hearings scheduled and the date selected. 2, no discovery provided as ordered by the board relative to body cam footage or an opportunity for the licensee to review. Number 3, inability to subpoena witnesses relative to the body camera footage. 4, counsel cannot be present on Zoom past 6 o'clock due to prior commitment and lack of proper notice. Wherefore, the licensee prays that this motion be allowed. And this was received from Attorney Allen. So in response to that, what I would like to do, I will tell the commission that forwarded to you were a number of emails that went back and forth today between myself and Attorney Allen. And I just want to outline, I know we've gone painstakingly prior, we've gone through the procedural history of this matter. But so I'm not going to go back all the way to November 10th when the continuances started. What I'll start at is after our last hearing, which was on May, well, the last time I heard from Attorney Allen would have been on May 25th when he appeared before this commission. So on May 26th, notices and accompanying reports were sent out for the final hearings for the 2 alleged violations of October 14th and 17th, as well as October 23rd and 24th. On June 6, 2022, I authored an email to Attorney Allen and Allen informing him that I would be on vacation on June 8th, would not be present. I didn't receive any response from him. June 15th, 2022, I emailed Attorney Allen apprising him that I was in possession of body-worn camera footage and requesting that we meet. There was no response then. On June 22nd, 2022, at the License Commission's next scheduled hearing, neither Attorney Allen nor his client appeared, and there was no contact to the licensing department relative to their absence. June 28th, 2022, I followed up by text message requesting to Attorney Allen that we meet to review the body-worn camera footage. I received an initial response on the 28th requesting my availability. I provided that to him on that same day within minutes and did not receive any additional contact from Attorney Allen. On July 6th, I might have a moment. On July 7th, I'm sorry, I authored a letter to Attorney Allen sent via first-class mail as well as electronic mail. And the letter reads as follows. Attorney Allen, as you're aware, there are currently 11 outstanding alleged violations for the above referenced establishment, Delecias, because of numerous requests for continuances, primarily on behalf of your client. Pending hearings date as far back as October 20th, 2021, and this department on a monthly basis receives new alleged violations. Additionally, the Springfield Police Department is continually responding to alleged noise complaints at this establishment. We have spoken on several occasions about a global resolution on all matters. I have previously offered a 45-day suspension. You stated that you wanted to view the body-worn camera footage prior to any agreement. Upon receipt of the footage on June 15th, I sent you an electronic email attempting to set up a time convenient for us to review. I did not receive a response and have not had any additional contact with you. A notice to appear for final hearing was forwarded to your office, both via first-class mail and electronically on June 28th, 2022. And that would have been for this meeting today. And we'll go forward on the next commission date on July 13th, 2022. So my first contact after May 26th was earlier today, this morning, when I received a text message from Attorney Allen asking what matters were going forward. So with respect to his request or his motion for continuance, I would just say to the commissioners that, again, it's your pleasure if in fact you want to allow it. However, I just want to make sure the record is clear about the number of continuances that have been given. And as I said in my letter to Attorney Allen, meanwhile, we're now hearing matters dating back to October as a result of the continued continuances. And as the old ones pile up, we're getting new ones every other week. So with that, I would just ask that you entertain the motion, because I just want to make sure we're sensitive to people's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Days. Is there any discussion from the commissioners in regards to this final hearing and the information Attorney Days gave us?
I have a question regarding the request. Is the request for all of the violations that are on the agenda, both pre-hearing conferences and final hearings?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's not just the final, it's everything.
That's correct. And I would represent to you that Attorney Allen has received discovery and reports, accompanying reports on all matters.
Has Attorney Allen indicated when he's going to be available to represent his client on this matter?
He did send me another email that I received later this afternoon that said that he's not available on the 27th. He's not available, I believe, at that first meeting in August, so he wouldn't be available until towards the end of August to begin hearing 11 matters that are currently before, not more than that, with the ones that keep coming.
That would be the August 24th meeting.
I believe so. He has stated that he would be able to come and look at the body-worn camera footage before that date.
Did he give you a date, Attorney Days?
He gave me a few, but he's given me a few before. We talked about this, as you know, this has gone on for a long time. So again, I don't really have a position. My only concern is that meanwhile, you know, there are alleged violations as they stand now, but meanwhile, as they continue to come in, we've had numerous officers here time after time after time. Ms. Prouty has been here many, many times to have her matter heard. And quite frankly, I mean, we're so behind because we haven't been able to proceed on resolving. We're in October now, resolving, attempting to resolve alleged violations at Delecias. We have them from November, December, January, February, March, April, June, July. And so the concern is that these matters need to move forward.
Attorney
Yes.
Days, even though Attorney Allen is not present, is there representation from Delecias that could perhaps accept or entertain the global resolution?
I would pose that question to them. I'm not sure. What I will tell you is that Attorney Allen and I have spoken on several occasions of the global resolution, but have not been able to reach one. And the last, I would suggest the last representation was I need to see the body worn cameras. However, after trying to get in touch with them for, I would suggest to you, over a month, I didn't hear from him until today, when the matters were all scheduled.
Attorney Days, just to be clear, Attorney Allen has had the opportunity up until today from that time prior to view the body worn cameras. The footage.
I first reached out to him on June 15th.
Okay.
Telling him that I had I received the footage from the police department and that we could set up a date. That was on June 15th. June 28th, I sent him a text message saying, I didn't hear from you from my earlier email. When are you available? He wrote back Thursday or Friday. I wrote back, Friday at 2 will work. That was June 28th, and I didn't hear anything after that.
Thank you for that. Thank you. It's plenty of time.
Yep.
And these videos cannot leave City Hall, correct? He must come to City Hall to view them.
That's correct.
How does the commission feel in terms of moving forward with this today or continuing this until August 24th?
That's another month and a half.
I am not in favor of prolonging this any further.
Madam Chair, is there a possibility that we can hear from representation from the Delecias if they're here today in reference to our global resolution?
Okay. Delecias?
Yes, hello. I'm Derrick, and I'm here, but without my attorney, I am reluctant to accept any resolution.
Okay, could you please appear, Mr. Crespo? Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. So without my attorney, without counsel, I'm reluctant to accept any resolution that would be offered because that would go against my rights and judgment.
Andrew?
Attorney Days, we're gonna keep this on the agenda every commission meeting until this is resolved?
Yes, I believe that I spoke about that maybe about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Maybe a month ago. I said that because there's, and I'll be honest with you, because they're so voluminous, right? If we end up taking any of them off the agenda, I think they'll get lost in the shuffle, right?
Yeah.
There's just so many reports, there's so many dates that my position is that all of them stay on until we start to resolve. Now, once we start to resolve, maybe because clearly, right, with 15 on or 14 on, we're not going to get to them all in one night. But I just want to keep it at the forefront of the commission's thought process that all these matters are pending, and at some point we must resolve them.
Well, I agree. It should stay, excuse me, Mr. Crespo. I think it should stay on the agenda because in between that time, we could miraculously have Mr. Allen appear. So it should be on, stay on the agenda till this is resolved.
If I may say something, I don't wish to extend this as much as you guys, because I know this has been going for long enough. But I can't, again, I can't waive my rights and be unprotected unless I have my attorney to counsel me.
But do you understand, Mr. Crespo, that it is very important that your attorney makes himself available and that he does, you know, come and speak on your behalf because, you know, represent you, because we cannot continue. This has been going on for a very, very long time, maybe 7 to 8 months right now. So, you know, the attorney cannot continue to put this off. It has to happen. And, you know, we're at a point where, you know, we're looking to either go ahead and move forward without your attorney or go ahead and allow one more extension, you know. I think you have to have a conversation with him and let him know that it's very important that he comes to the meeting, makes himself available and represent you.
I agree and I understand.
I
wish we could get this, you know, get this off the table already and, you know, work on it. But I was expecting him to be here. So again, it's not, I do not wish to postpone this more than we have to, but I am against, I can't accept any resolutions without counsel.
You know, I don't know if what I'm about to say is allowed, but have you even thought about perhaps another attorney? I mean, I don't think he is representing you the way that he should be representing you. And if I'm offline, you know, I shouldn't have said what I said, I apologize.
Understood.
Madam
Again, this
Chairperson,
is
I
costing me
apologize
money
for
too.
interrupting. Attorney Days doesn't appear to be on the call. It looks like she may have gotten disconnected.
Okay.
And she was speaking at the time that she got disconnected too.
Okay, so we can just give her a couple more
Yeah,
minutes.
If you want to give her a second, I'm also in City Hall. I'm just going to run upstairs and see sort of what's going on. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Jane.
My worst nightmare just came true, and that was that my whiteboard was going to shut down and disconnect everybody. So that's what happened, and I apologize.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where you left off, and Madam.
Right. I'm not sure if you heard. I mean, we were just talking to Mr. Crespo. Well, I did. I mentioned that perhaps he should look into maybe hiring someone else if this is not for Attorney Allen. But at this, you know, at this time, this junction, we should look to, you know, they should look to have this, you know, behind them as soon as possible.
Okay.
Commissioners?
Just a question. So if we don't move forward tonight and they are not accepting our global, any global resolution that we've come up with, and we don't move forward with continuance, what happens tonight? That's a question.
The matter is scheduled for final hearing. If the motion to continue is not allowed, the final hearing would continue. I mean, would take place tonight.
Okay. Is there a motion? Okay. Attorney Days, so do I make a motion to continue and then have the commissioners vote on it?
Yep, you would make a motion to allow the motion to continue presented by Attorney Allen.
Is it possible that we can also interject in that motion that we, if we're going to continue, it would be the final continuance that he would receive?
Okay, yep, you could do that. We've done that in the past, I will tell you, for these various hearings. So, yep, that's an option. You could add that in as well.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back and forth because I'm gonna try to get back on my whiteboard, but I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, no.
Commissioner Kate, do you want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we continue it to our next commission hearing, but that would be the final continuance. No others, there will be no other discussion or anything like that. That would be the final.
Well, Andrew, when you say the next commission hearing, do you mean July 27th?
That's correct. I know he did indicate that he wanted to do it in August, right? But it would be the 27th date.
August
July
24th.
That would be my motion.
Let me take a look back at his email while I'm here. I know he couldn't be available for the 27th, and I believe he said he had something on August 6th. And then the 13th. So I'm not, let me just be clear. I'm trying to do a couple of things at one time. So what I would represent, I know he said the 27th, he's not available. And he's not available that first week in August. I'm not, so therefore I can't represent if he's available on the, what is that, the 13th? Or it's gonna be the 20th?
The 10th and the 24th.
August 10th
Okay.
and the 24th.
Okay, and that's what I'm not sure of, but I know he's not available that first week in August. So did I get on?
So
So I'm just thinking with the other commissioners, some input, but I just think that at some point we're just being too accommodating.
Yes, we are. But so basically what he's saying, he's available on August 10th. Because he said he's not available the first week of August. August 10th is technically the second week of August. So he's available August 10th.
Well, Alicia's going to check on that.
Yeah, give me 1 second, so yeah. Please hold.
Yes.
Thank you. I am having difficulty locating that particular email.
If I may, I'm looking at an email dated today. It was sent at 2:32 p.m. to Anna. Just says, for filing, please see attached. I am available next Wednesday evening. I am not available on July 27th.
Thank you. And then there was another email that talked about August. And he might have just sent that to me directly.
So with that being said, just so we can move forward, my suggestion, if you are going to continue it, that it go to that first hearing in August, because I don't, if my recollection is correct, I know he said something about that first week in August, but it wasn't the second week.
Okay.
And our first meeting in August is August 10th. Am I correct?
Correct. That's correct.
So I think.
So I'll change my motion to August 10th as the final with no other discussion after that.
I will second that.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, okay, Delecias,
Yes.
okay, did you hear what just transpired?
Yes.
Okay, your attorney only has until August 10th. So he has to make sure that he views this, the cameras, whatever it is that he has to do, has to happen before the 8th, the 10th of August, because we will go forward on that day, whether he is present or not. Okay?
Well, you know what?
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed the motion. So was there a motion that was voted on to continue?
Yes.
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 Okay, and who first and who second did that, please?
I made the
Commissioner-
motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Commissioner Cade made the motion and John second.
okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
And I would just ask that we release the officers and the witnesses that are here.
Officer Sion, thank you so much for being here each and every single time that we call on you.
And
Mrs.
Miss
Prouty.
Prouty as well. who
Miss
has-
Prouty,
Who has
correct.
hung in there and been here month after month. So thank you
Right.
for appearing.
Absolutely.
Correct. Hopefully next month we'll put an end to it all.
Okay.
Okay, and just before we get to the common vics, if I could. Well, let me come back on. I received a letter from Attorney Daniel Kelly, who is representing the Saga license. And he writes, "Dear Attorney Days, as you know, I represent the legal interest of Saga Nightclub located at 90 Worthington Street in Springfield, Mass. As you know, Saga has been closed since the incident of May 29th, 2022. Saga will remain closed until such time as they receive the express permission of the License Commission to reopen. At this point, Saga is not looking to reopen, nor are they clear as to whether they will ever reopen. As such, we are asking for additional time to make decisions on what the future, if any, will be for Saga. We appreciate your time and review of the above referenced matter." And he just says, should you have additional questions or concerns, he provides me with a contact number. Sincerely, Daniel D. Kelly. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Attorney Kelly, or
You know, I doubt you'll ever see Saga open again. It hasn't been open since that night. In other words, the mayor thought it was not. I spoke to you about that today as well. I think you went there as well. So I just want to reassure the commission, despite what you may have read, they have not been open. And I know you're to the commission, your attorney, maybe she's communicated this to you. She's on that as well. And I doubt they'll ever be open, but they're just making some decisions right now and doing some corporate reshuffling. But rather than set it up for which will be inevitably if there was to be a contested hearing, certainly a long one, and a long legal process, if it was appealed, would drag on for years. Rather than drag anyone through that, just asking for a month or two, it won't never reopen until you voted to reopen. And I don't know how to put it more succinctly than that.
Well, this is a request to continue, correct?
Yeah, I don't,
Right.
I wish I had a specific date to say
Yeah.
if I have a decision, but, you know, month or so, a month or two, I mean, we're still, you know, rather than start a legal process that will take 2 years and cost, you know, a lot of money for the city and time and effort for the city, it's doubtful it'll ever reopen. I just thought giving it a month or two so they could kind of like wind down some corporate interests, that might make more sense for everyone.
Well, the motion would be to continue to a certain date or continue generally. Is that correct, Attorney
I
Davis?
wouldn't, I guess what's your, maybe the first date in, the first hearing date in September, just so they can, you know, wind up some corporate affairs?
September 14th? That would be September 14th. That good?
Okay.
9/14. And, you know, just as clarification, I know we have a number of family members on the line. So I just want to communicate out that, in fact, Saga is closed. I will tell you that I was there on, I believe, July 5th. And it wasn't a situation where it just appeared that, you know, some tables had been moved, but clearly there's no alcohol present within Saga. I will tell you, it's very dusty and very dirty. There is furniture that they have now piled into there. One of the entrances has been sealed within Saga. Now, I think what has contributed to some of the confusion is, as you know, not only is Saga there, but there's also another licensed establishment, right, which is the Zone. And that continues to remain open. Now, similar to other venues where there are multiple licenses within an establishment, the License Commission is dealing with the Saga license at this point and not the Zone's license. So I want to make sure that that's clear, because I know there's been speculation that it's been open and that people are going in there, but as a result of my inspection with the Springfield Police Department, it does not appear that that is an active club at this point. So I just want to, you know, make sure that everyone's clear about that, because I know, you know, there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of feelings, and especially with respect to Saga, you know, justifiably so. But it's been my observation that Saga is not operating at this point in time.
I would make a motion to continue this pre-hearing conference till September 14th with the understanding that Saga will remain closed until that hearing at least.
There a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
You're muted, Andrew.
Sorry, yes.
Commissioner Santor,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Okay, and just as a point of clarity, Saga will remain closed, and you can clarify for me, Attorney Kelly, if I'm wrong, beyond that September 14th pretrial conference date, right? So it's going to remain closed until it's been.
Yeah. No, this is just like my letter stated. Saga will not open until there's a vote of this board saying they can open. Is that clear? Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. I'd say if there's something that needs to be cleared up from that sentence, let me know, but that's as clear as I know how to put it.
It's pretty clear.
Attorney Days, I know that we made a motion already, and I know that the family is here. Do we give the family an opportunity to speak, or because the motion was made, we're done?
Candidly, no, I mean, they wouldn't have an opportunity to speak because the matter's been continued. So
Okay.
on continuance, you know, perhaps they'll be called as witnesses further down the road, but as it stands today, it's been continued, and those matters are not ordinarily open for public comment.
Okay, they will have an opportunity on September 14th.
No, not unless
No,
they're
not
written.
even, Okay.
Not unless, okay, let me clarify, because I want everybody to be
Okay.
clear that with conferences and hearings, be it pretrial hearing, but most notably final hearing, witnesses will be called, right?
Right.
They'll be called to give their recitation of what they saw, what they heard, you know, as it relates to the matters of that day, right? So those people who will be called as witnesses, either by the city or by Attorney Kelly, who represents Saga, those individuals will be allowed to speak and to testify as to the happenings of what date was it? May 29th? Was it the 29th of May? Okay,
Yes.
of May 29th. But in terms of a public comment, just, you know, those are allowed under certain conditions, and it doesn't relate to hearings, right? People have an opportunity to speak if there's a transfer of license or other things that are enumerated by statute where people are allowed public comment. But aside from that, people speaking will be limited to witnesses that appear at the time of final hearing.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the family is, you know, aware of the
Very
process
good.
procedure.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
welcome.
clarifying.
Okay.
Okay. Are we taking, Attorney Days, are we taking another matter out of order?
No, I think, well, no, we're going to go back to the schedule because I believe Attorney Kelly has another matter on, but we'll get to it relatively quickly. The next thing that we're going to look at are the common vicular licenses.
Okay. So we have the Cornerstone Cafe, DBA Cornerstone Cafe, located at 1 Monarch Place. They are operating without a common vicular license. Is there anybody here from Cornerstone Cafe? Do we continue? How do we want to?
Well, let me give you.
They don't have a license, right? So
right. Let me give you the procedural history for. And I would just say to you that this would be applicable to items 1 through 4. I believe those are where our common vics are. So as you know, routinely and as required, licenses are renewed on an annual basis. Therefore, these licenses for these common viculars should have been renewed no later than December 31st of 2021. So in response to that, letters were sent or forwarded to these individuals requesting that they come into the licensing department and fill out the appropriate paperwork and pay the appropriate fees. That was not done. And Barry, if you could help me with the date, because I can't recall the date, but in response to not receiving a response to our letter, what I authored at that time was a cease and desist, that they were to stop serving food and stop operating without the appropriate license. And they were to cease and desist from, of course, serving food and being open. Those establishments have remained open. They have not come to the licensing department for a common vicular license as required by state statute and city ordinance. So that's the procedural kind of the posture we're in with respect to them.
So they've already been served a cease and desist and they remain open despite that.
That's correct. And Barry, do you have the date of that? I can't remember when it was.
I don't. The first batch, I believe, was January, February timeframe.
Okay.
And I believe the most recent one was the North End Dunkin' Donuts. And that was within the last month. So they were probably served last. That wasn't on the original list.
Okay.
The other 3 were.
Okay.
So wouldn't the next step be court?
Yeah, or a motion to close them down until such time that they come in for a license.
Now, who does that?
Or fine them.
Who closes them down?
Well, if they're operating without a license as required,
Yeah.
In essence, the commission could close them down, right? I mean, they don't have a license to operate. They don't have a license in the city of Springfield at this time.
Well, they've already been served a cease and desist and they don't seem to care. So the next
Right.
step is we,
Close
what
them
happens?
down.
I mean, do we go there and just shut the lights off and say, get out? How does that work? We've never gotten this far that I recall.
No, because people usually come in after we
Right.
serve them with the cease and desist.
Yes,
right?
they do.
But this is not the case today. So they're staying open. So I would suggest that you have a motion before the committee that a motion to close the establishments until such time that they come in to apply for a common vicular license. And then we'll proceed. If in fact we need to go to court, we'll do that as well. That would be my suggestion.
Oh,
So, just for question, when you say close them down, are you indicating that the city would go out and just put something on the door telling them to not operate, or will Barry go in and put a lock on the door? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I don't think we'd put any locks. We'd have to work out the logistics. So I think
Okay,
what's before the commission tonight is whether or not you will move to close them down. And then we'll take appropriate steps based on conversations after this hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
So. And commissioners have any questions, any suggestions?
We've never gotten this far before. Usually the cease and desist, they line up at the clerk's window here if they owe the city something, or they go right to the license commission and actually fill out the application like they're supposed to. I don't recall us ever getting this far. Cease and desist to me is pretty scary, and that
Right.
usually scares to them, but not these, apparently, for some reason.
Cornerstone Cafe couldn't be any closer to City Hall.
Right. I
Right.
walk through there every day. They're open. There's people sitting out in their sitting area eating.
I believe Anna, or I don't know, one of the paralegals told me that she knows this week they're closed, but I think they're closed for vacation, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Of the closure, but.
Attorney Days, I will just chime in and say that they have a sign on their window that says they're closed until July 18th. I think it's been up there for about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Vacation.
Okay. Oh, does it cite vacation, Attorney G?
It does.
Okay.
Which one is this one? Cornerstone?
Cornerstone.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Madam Chairperson.
Okay. Well, I make a motion to close Cornerstone Cafe, DBA Cornerstone Cafe, located at 1 Monarch Place, until the establishment comes in to renew their common victular license.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Next one is Esmond Cuisine, located at 341 Wilbraham Road. Jermaine Delaney, manager of record, operating without a common vicular license. For the sake of time, I don't think we need to go into the discussion all over again. So unless any of the commissioners have any questions,
No.
I'd like to make a motion that we close the establishment Esmond Cuisine, located at 341 Wilbraham Road, until the establishment comes in to renew their common vicular license.
Second.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosa, yes. Next is Houston Enterprises, Inc., DBA KFC, located at 632 State Street. Anna Rodriguez, manager of record, operating without a common vicular license. I make a motion that we close the establishment until they come in to renew the common vicular license.
Second.
Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Del Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Fourth one, Belmont Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts located at 3065 Main Street. Kayleen Lador, manager of record, operating without a common vicular license. I make a motion that we close the establishment until they come in to renew the common vicular license.
Second.
Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Del Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, next one is Papa Ram Associates LLC.
No, we're done with the common vics.
Yep, no, we're done with the common vics, but that's the next one on the agenda, the next matter.
Right, the next matter is Papa Ram Associates LLC, Top Shelf, located at 238 Chestnut Street. Carlos Melendez, manager of record. Incident of December 3rd, 2021, failure to call police to report a disturbance. And number 2, person under 21 in possession of alcohol on licensed premise. Who is here for Top Shelf? I'm sorry, Mr. Melendez?
Yes, I'm here, and Dan Kelly, my attorney.
Okay.
Sorry, my screen froze there for a second.
Okay,
We're
you're
having all
on.
sorts of technical difficulties tonight.
Okay, you're on, Attorney Kelly.
Okay, thank you. Just ran downstairs to reset something, so I'm a little out of breath, but in an effort to try to come to an agreement tonight, we would propose a disposition, but I just want to give you some background as to the issue. First, speaking with your attorney, Ms. Days, I believe that the institutional history here is pretty good. I don't remember an incident for a long time, but my memory is always not the best, so I'll defer to the file and Ms. Days on that. But I don't think they've had one for a long time. And I don't think the ones I'm remembering were under another ownership group. So there's that. With respect to the issues regarding the under 21, they had someone working that night, December 3rd, who was very good. He's a former Marine, or he is a Marine, and he's better than usual than the scanning machines. And they got rid of the scanning machines because the new fake IDs usually get around them, no problem. And so if someone just slipped in that night, there's no excuse, they have to be better. But they had been relying machines, got kind of jaded by those, hired someone who knew what they were doing, and someone got by, but they're adamant they caught everybody. But there's no excuse, someone got in. And they're sorry for that. With respect to the failure to call, I talked to Mr. Melendez, who's here. He told me that about what happened with the incident, but normally there's a district car down there almost every night. The district car, because it was after closing, after everyone left, had cleared and they had left. So when the incident occurred, he reacted to deal with the incident, but instead of calling 911, he texted the officer who was on duty at the district, who came back and helped with the report. He tells me he showed Mr. Delamarter that text. That's not proper notification. He knows that. He's wrong. The only reason I bring that up is to give you some context. Although he did fail to call 911, he did text the officer in the cruiser who had just left there a few minutes earlier. Again, under your rules, that's not an appropriate notice, but I just figured when you're dealing with what the appropriate sanction would be, that might give you a little context. So I just hope that's helpful. What I'm proposing, based upon the nature of the violations, the context that I've given you, and essentially they've been there for a while without any issues whatsoever, then I'm proposing, I think under your rules, the first offense is 5 days. I'm asking that 1 day be served and the balance be suspended in abatement for pursuant to your rules. I know that's one of the discretionary things that you have. The incident happened on a Thursday into a Friday. To make the offer of 1 day more palatable to you, we would select a weekend Friday night. So we would hope that would be something that the board would consider appropriate. We're not asking for the same night because we know people know that Friday nights are much busier than Thursday. So we would, in order to make the 1 day more palatable, we would ask for the Friday night. I'm hopeful that's something we can come to agreement without going to a final hearing.
Okay, and I want to just make sure, thank you, Attorney Kelly. I just want to make sure that people have had an opportunity to read the officer's report regarding the incident that occurred on December 3rd.
Could you refresh our memory, Attorney Days?
I thought you were going to say that. No. Okay, so this was as a result, November 3rd, Officer Delamarta was made aware of a video that was circulating on social media showing a disturbance outside of Top Shelf on Chestnut Street. They were viewed, and it appears that after viewing, wait a minute, I'm sorry, give me a second. At some point, the alleged victim responded to 130 Pearl Street, filed an incident report. It stated that the victim reported at about 1 a.m. while outside of Top Shelf, and after a minor car accident, he was sprayed with some type of mace-like substance and then beaten by 3 of the bouncers from Top Shelf. He indicated he was grabbed by the neck, punched and kicked numerous times about his body. He added that he was able to drive away and was later treated at the hospital. He indicated his nose was broken and that he had scratches and bruises on his body. So there was, I won't go into all of the report, but I would suggest to you it's 10 pages long. But in essence, there were several contacts by Officer Delamarta with various people, including Mr. Melendez, as Attorney Kelly pointed out, who is the manager of Top Shelf. So those in essence are I think the highlighted facts. And Attorney Kelly, if you would like to expound, you can.
Just, and I'll defer to Mr. Delamarta, just that the videos were reviewed, and I'll use this word. The videos, I think, although did depict the person inside drinking, were inconsistent with his initial description of the events. Is that fair, Mr. Delamarta?
Yeah, so the video, there were reports filed by parties on both sides, numerous reports, and looking at the video with Mr. Melendez, there were inconsistencies. He also indicated that he had been assaulted that night. He was dizzy. That was one of the reasons he said too, that he probably texted. One of the videos that we reviewed does show a cruiser that leaves probably 5 to 10 minutes at the most before this happened. So this is people that were in the parking lot across the street. Basically in the parking lot, they're at their cars, the cruiser leaves and there's a minor accident that quickly escalates. That's what was captured on social media in the videos. And I know criminal complaints were issued against subjects that were involved. You know, other than that, the video was provided by, of the minor inside it was provided by one of the reporting parties' significant other. She's the one who forwarded that from her phone.
Any questions from commissioners?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Just to get it clear, all of this incident happened after hours, after the business was closed. It wasn't at 1 o'clock. It was past 2 o'clock in the morning when the business was already closed. That's when the accident happened, when the staff was on the way home. It wasn't during operational times. And I did make the error of texting instead of calling 911. I learned my lesson on that. I got in trouble for that one. And ever since, I just call 911 for any little things that I have happened in the area, just to have that on record that we've been calling and cooperating.
Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
No.
Our guidelines are that the first violation is 5 days and the commissioners can decide whether they're all to be served or some to be served and some held in abeyance. Alicia, that in the packet there, we don't have a history for this
Gotcha.
licensee. So does that mean there is no history?
I don't believe there is. I agree with Attorney Kelly that, first of all, it would have likely been attached, right? Because my ladies are very, very competent. So I'm assuming that the last violations, of course, that occurred were with different owners.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, that being said, I think the offer of 1 day, a 5-day suspension with 1 to be served and 4 to be held in abeyance is reasonable.
Is that a motion, Peter?
Well, we have to, how long are we going to hold it in abeyance? Is I think the discussion. A year, less?
I think we've said a year in the past. Right?
Andrew, did you have something to add?
I was gonna say, we've done 6 months to a year that we've held in abeyance. So I would think that since it's, I think our rules indicate that we hold for at least a year in abeyance. So.
Okay.
Yep.
I will make a motion to accept the licensee's offer of a 5-day suspension with 1 day to be served and 4 days to be held in abeyance. Attorney Kelly, what is the day being offered, the weekend to be served?
I know you have to write your paperwork up, so I don't know if the 15th is too quick for you to get that done, or is the 22nd better?
That's Alicia.
I know sometimes asking for the Friday after the Wednesday is too quick to get it done, so I don't want to make more work for you, so you tell me.
Friday is what you're
Attorney Kelly, thank you so much. Why don't we do the 22nd?
Okay.
Okay, the day to be served to be Friday, the July 22nd.
Okay.
There a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes,
Commissioner Ramirez,
you're muted. Yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Our next item is Samaya Restaurant Corporation, DBA Malecon Restaurant located at 137 Chestnut Street. Hennessy's Pujo, manager of record, incident of May 27th, 2022, failure to abide by city noise ordinance.
I'm here.
Okay,
Who's that?
Genesis.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
Genesis?
Yeah.
Genesis, can you turn on your camera, please?
Yeah.
Also, Pujols is also here. Rosa, you heard me?
Yes.
That's Rosa? Oh, okay. Just want to
I
make
did.
sure
I'm waiting for
wasn't
Genesis.
here.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to turn it on.
We're having a lot of technical issue today as Ms. Days.
Okay.
Okay. Attorney Days, this is failure to abide by Springfield noise ordinance for May 27th.
Yes, and present we have Attorney G. Let me just make sure this is the right matter. No,
Nancy, put your phone on mute, please.
No, okay, so these are on for pre-hearing conference, correct?
Yes.
Pre-hearing.
Okay, what I'm going to ask, I'm gonna do another deviation. I see Miss Johnson is on the phone and I'm not sure who, and I believe we have an officer here as well. What I'm gonna ask is that Attorney G, you're here with respect to the final hearing on which matter?
Nancy, put your phone on mute. Sorry, Ms. Days.
Attorney G?
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear the end of your sentence.
You're here on which matter?
I am here on the hearing, the final hearing related to the March 6th matter.
The
I'm
final
sorry, say that.
hearing.
I'm sorry, say that again, Attorney G.
I'm here on the March 6th matter under final, it's number
7.
7 under final hearing, yes.
Okay, all right. So that's the final hearing that will go forward today. Now, are you representing yourself?
Yes, we are at this point. We got
Okay.
no.
Okay, so my suggestion, Madam Chairwoman, would be that we take the final hearing first, and then we'll deal with the pre-hearing conferences thereafter.
Okay, so we're going to take on the Samaya Restaurant and
Oh,
DBA, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you yet again, and I apologize. Just so we can try to clear out as much as we can before we visit Malecon, if we can just go to Fuego Sports Bar. Is there anybody present here on behalf of Fuego Sports Bar?
Yes, ma'am. DeLeo.
Okay, all right, very good. So this matter is scheduled for pretrial conference today. Are you going to represent yourself or what?
I would respectfully ask for a continuance to August 10th so I can get a lawyer to represent me, if that's possible.
Okay, the commission? What's your pleasure?
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Is that okay with the commissioners?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I make a motion that we continue Fuego Sports Bar LLC, DBA Fuego Sports Bar located at 885 Peru Street. Pedro De Leon Jr., Manager of Record, incident of June 4th, 2022, exceeding posted occupancy limit of 40. Number 2, employee Jose Ortiz consuming alcohol on licensed premise. And number 3, violation of the City of Springfield noise ordinance. Number 4, offering entertainment after 1 a.m. without the required late night entertainment permit.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Kay,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
and Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Attorney Days, I'm not sure that I said continue to August 10th.
I believe you did.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, so I think the remaining matters, just so we can clear the docket, I think just the remaining matters are those for Malecon and Delecias, which we've resolved, right? So all the remaining matters are for Delecias. I mean, I'm sorry, are Malecon.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to move to final hearing for Samaya's Restaurant Inc., DBA Malecon Restaurant, located at 137 Chestnut Street, Genesis Pujo, Manager of Record, incident of March 6, 2022, allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit in violation of MGL Chapter 270, Section 22, and a failure to abide by Springfield noise ordinance.
Okay, and just procedurally, Madam Chairwoman, if I can, so who will be speaking on behalf of Malecon? Both of you or Ms. Pujos? Who's going to be speaking?
Yeah, me and my brother.
Okay, all right, very good. So are there any stipulations to any of the violations that are before you? Or are you prepared, or would you like to proceed to hearing on both counts?
Yeah, we're ready to go with it and get this over with, Ms. Days. 30 days, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So is there any stipulation, meaning do you admit to any of the charges that are?
As we speak before, we have me only to the smoking material, but the noise complaints, we don't agree to that. So we'll move forward with anything possible to prove ourselves not guilty on that.
Okay, so just so we're clear and we can make a record that with respect to allowing the use of smoking material without the required smoking bar permit, in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 270, Section 22, you're stipulating that in fact is true, and that you don't want to go forward, you would like to admit to the facts of that, but would rather just go forward with count number 2, which is failure to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance. Is that correct?
We admit to, yes, to the smoking material, but I also want to give me a like a chance so I can ask Officer De La Mare about the smoking material because as I know, no one in Springfield has a hookah license. Though let me not say no one. Few businesses have hookah licenses, so we are the only one targeted on this matter, and that's what we're trying to find out why. Because
Well,
that the police.
let me just clarify. You can either
Yes, go ahead.
concede, you can either stipulate that in fact, on this day, as it relates to Malecon, right? That there was smoking material present without the required smoking bar permit. I mean, that you can stipulate to. But if you stipulate to it, the only facts that are going to be presented during this hearing, on final hearing, is whether or not you failed to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance. So I guess in essence, what I'm saying to you is either one or the other. You can go forward on both charges, or you can go forward on one charge. So
We're gonna, yeah, I'm sorry. We're
No,
gonna go ahead with the smoking material, not with the noise. We're not guilty on that. We're not gonna we call it. We're not gonna plead guilty to that noise complaint that they saying that we had.
okay,
have.
and that's your right. So, but I just want to be clear that the smoking material count will not be the subject of the hearing. So you said earlier that, I want to ask Officer Delamarta some questions with respect to the smoking bar aspect, but those questions won't be allowed, right? Because
I see. So it's not allowed. That's fine, no problem. So let's just go with it, no problem. We do the smoking material then.
So I'm still not clear. Help me. I know it's late and I'm a little slow at this point, but
no, I'm saying that we're gonna go with that case. We're gonna go forward with the smoking material.
Okay, both counts.
It was 2 times?
No. So the counts.
I mean, 2 counts?
No. The 2 counts that are before the commission. Number 1 is allowing the use of smoking material. Count number 2 is failure to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance. So what I'm asking is, are you admitting to count 1 with the smoking material and you want to go forward and have a hearing on the failure to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance? Or are you requesting that both matters be the subject of the hearing?
It can be both, but the other one, like I say, we're not guilty. This one, we admit into it because we're not gonna come here and lie to your face and say, oh no, we weren't smoking hookah. So you understand what I'm saying? Or they need to both go on and be guilty both, or how this work?
No. You can stipulate, meaning you could make an admission on count 1, right? Which is the smoking material.
Correct.
And then you can say, okay, I would say that there's enough information that would find us responsible for that. But we're not willing to admit to is the Springfield noise ordinance.
Correct. That's exactly what I want to.
Okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, so be mindful that any testimony related to smoking material is not going to come in because you've already stipulated.
That's fine. Sorry.
Okay, very good. Okay, Attorney G, I'm sorry.
Attorney Days, I see Officer Delamarter on. I don't see Officer DeGray on. I saw her on earlier, but I haven't seen her on. Oh, there she is. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so with that, do I have the floor?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thank you. So the first witness that I will call is Officer DeGray. Can I ask, I'm sorry, Attorney Days, does someone swear in the witnesses?
Sure. You raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony that you give during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, Genesis,
Yes.
I didn't see you raise your hand. Are you going to testify?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. The witnesses have been sworn in, Attorney G.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, did you also get a confirmation from Officer Delamarter? I just want to make sure the record is clear.
Yes.
Thank you. Officer DeGray, can I ask you to please state your first and last name for the record?
Yep, Brianna.
Or is it possible whoever is not speaking to mute their phone? I wasn't able to hear Officer DeGray. Can I ask you to repeat your first and last name?
Yep, it's Brianna DeGray.
And how long have you, is it a fair statement that you're an officer with the Springfield Police Department?
Yes.
How long have you been an officer?
4 years.
That was 4 years?
Yes. Yep.
Do you remember working on March 6th, 2022?
Yes.
And do you remember responding to a call for service related to Malecon?
I do.
Can you tell me about your response to that call for service?
Yes. So we got a call for service of a noise complaint. I don't know what time approximately. We responded in our cruiser. That's my sector that I work. Prior to actually arriving at Malecon, I took a loop down Mattoon Street, which is a parallel street to Malecon, where the call originated from, the noise complaint, to see if it was loud. I came around to Chestnut, which is approximately 150 yards away from Malecon. I could hear.
Officer DeGray, I'm just going to stop you for 1 second. Attorney Days, is it possible for me to be made a host so that I can share my screen?
Of course, if you can tell me how I do that.
Sure. So you will click on participants.
Participants, yeah.
And then you will hover the mouse over my name.
Okay, yeah.
And click on the box with the 3 dots.
Okay.
And then there should be an option that says make host.
Make host, I see it. You are officially a host.
Okay, thank you.
That.
Welcome. Aren't you guys, wait 1 second. Aren't you guys proud of me?
I am impressed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We are very impressed. Okay, I'm going to just share my screen. Okay, are you able to see a GIS map with Mattoon Street on the side?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Officer DeGray, can you again describe you were saying that you drove down a certain street to go to Malecon. So can I ask you to first tell me where is Malecon located?
Okay, it's going to be on the corner of Bridge Street and Chestnut.
Yep.
Here?
Yep.
Okay, and where did you say you drove down after receiving the call for service?
Okay, so I came down Pearl Street, and Mattoon is up Pearl. Yep, so you're going the right way. And then you take a right onto Mattoon right there, and down it's a one-way, and it brings you back to Chestnut.
Okay.
If I can recall, the call said, it was a loud noise complaint. They could hear, approximately 200 yards. So that's probably approximately 200 yards away from that. So I went down there, and then when I got to the intersection of Pearl Street and Chestnut, at the triangle right there, I could clearly hear music coming from the restaurant.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this location for a second, and I'm just going to share the audio with the call for service. Give me 1 moment.
March.
You guys, I thought you guys would talk to me. I'm sorry.
March 6th, 2022, 20:45, 41.
I just want to confirm you're able to hear the call for service?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, please record line.
Hi, I'm calling about the complaint coming from Malecon Restaurants Music. This is a repeated complaint that we have.
What's the address there?
137 Chestnut Street.
And we'll take a callback number.
I prefer not to be called back. I'm trying to sleep.
Okay.
But I do want this to go on record, and I want the officers to also drive down the tune and see if they can hear it from more than 200 feet away from the restaurant, and I'd like them to put that in the report. They're about to have a hearing on their noise violations, and this is ridiculous that they're still doing this, even though they know they're about to go on record.
Okay, ma'am. Anything else you could tell me at this time?
I called last week. Last week was the first week that they got their license back. I'm more than 200 feet away from their building. I'm inside my house with my doors and windows closed. They have amplified music that I can hear through my closed windows.
Okay, ma'am. We'll have officers go check it out. If anything changes, just give us a call back, okay?
Thank you. And would you please put it in the report, because I know Officer Delecias checks the report on a regular basis.
That you can hear from 200 feet away?
I can hear it from more than 200 feet away.
All right, I'll put that in.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye-bye.
March 6th, 2022, 20:47:32.
Okay, so just to recap, so you responded to that call for service, you drove down Mattoon Street and arrived at Malecon. Can you tell me what happened next when you arrived?
Yes, we parked out front, and then our body cameras activated at that point. And we went in the front door, which again, it's on the intersection of Pearl and our bridge in Chestnut. We could hear the music coming from the inside. We talked to a security guard out front in the little breezeway or entryway. We asked to speak to the manager, which I believe is the mother. I don't recall her name. We spoke with her. She came to the door, and we told her she had to turn down the music, or there would be a violation, or we would have to come back and give her a ticket, and we left.
Okay, and I just want to, I'm sorry, I just want to go back to something that you spoke about earlier. You stated that you drove down Mattoon Street. As you were driving down Mattoon Street, were you able to hear the noise at the music from Malecon at that time?
I believe I did not. I heard it at the intersection, again at Pearl and Chestnut is when I could hear it then.
Okay, and how, so with the intersection of, you said Pearl and Chestnut?
Yes. Yep, Pearl and Chestnut right there. There is a light there. So we stopped at the light. Again, it's a one way up that way. So you have to come up to go back down bridge. So I could hear at the intersection of Pearl and Chestnut.
Okay, and would you estimate that that is more than 50 feet away from Malecon?
Yes.
All right. And you stated that you had a body worn camera on during the response. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to play a bit of the I'm going to play a bit of the body worn cameras footage from Officer DeGray. The camera itself, excuse me, the video itself is 4.5 minutes long. I'm not really sure that 4.5 minutes is necessary. But I will play maybe the first minute if that's okay with Madam Chairperson or the commissioners.
Yes.
In the first 30 seconds, there will not be any audio.
Recording.
We need your manager. The manager? Yeah. Turn down the music. Turn down the music.
Okay, and Officer DeGray, is that an accurate depiction of what you recall from that evening?
Yes. Yep.
And just to make sure the record is clear, I played the first 2 minutes of the video. Would the commission like to see more, or is the first 2 minutes fine? I think we're only addressing the noise issue, so I'm only playing the video to address that issue.
Just for point of reference, Attorney, after those first 2 minutes were played, the second 2 minutes were the noise turned down?
That's a question for Officer DeGray. Do you recall if after you spoke to the manager or after leaving the establishment, was the noise turned down or the music turned down? Excuse me.
Yeah, so I spoke to the manager. That probably was another minute of the body worn. And then as we were leaving, the music was turned down.
Could I ask a question? The manager finally did appear at the door, and that was Genesis.
It was not, it was their mother. I don't recall her name.
So was Genesis available at all? Because she's the manager of record.
I did not speak to her.
Was not available. I was almost due. I was pregnant and I was already like having contractions, so I didn't go to work.
Okay.
What might be best, just because there are additional questions, is just to play the remainder of the video, if that's okay.
Just to correct something on that, my mother, as the owner, she was present though. That's who came to the door and spoke to the officer.
She's not the manager of record, however.
Yeah, but I just want to, to clarify that.
Okay, I'm just gonna play the remainder of the video.
Also, we need to see a dedo. That's about it. music, we can hear it. Okay. I need your name also. Yeah, what's your name? Dominga. Dominga? Yeah. What's the last name? Your last name? What is it? La dirección. Excuse me? Oh. Your last name. Do you have an ID? Oh, Pujol. P-U-J-O-N-S. P-U-J-O-N-A? P-U-J-O-N-A? Okay. S? Yeah. Yeah, it's too loud. If we get another complaint, we're gonna have to cite you. I know, but people are calling. It's gonna keep happening. So, a couple notches, it'll be fine. But I can hear it outside, clear. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so just so the record is clear, you on that day did not speak to Genesis Pujols, is that correct?
I did not.
Okay, and you did not speak to Mr. Pujols. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name, but you did not speak.
Josue.
You did not speak to Josue Pujols, who's here today. Is that correct?
I did not.
I just want to clarify, I was the DJ actually that night. That's me, DJ Veneno. So I was there. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions of Officer Del Gray, excuse me. DeGray.
Yes, I definitely got a couple of questions to ask her.
Okay.
Whenever I get a chance.
So after you responded to this call for service, at some point, did you speak with Officer Delamarter about this establishment?
I did.
Okay, and can you tell me about that conversation?
Well, to go through it, we told him to turn down the music. I wore my body camera. They did turn it down, and I spoke about the other issue about the hookah. I know we're not covering that, but the full extent of the conversation, I told him I could hear it, and there was a complaint, there was a call for service due to the music, and that was pretty much the extent of our conversation.
Okay.
And who I spoke.
I'm sorry?
I told him who I spoke to.
Okay. Okay, I don't have any further questions for Officer DeGray. I believe Mr. Pujols would have the opportunity to ask questions of Officer DeGray.
Yes, Officer DeGray, how are you? My name is Josue Pujols Vasquez. So I just got a question. So the caller, as we all heard, she said that she can hear the music from her bedroom, windows closed, door closed. That's what she said. But the Officer DeGray say that she went to the black, she didn't hear the music on her black Mattoon, because this is what we're going back and forth, that she could making phone calls, which right now we feeling like it's, something else behind this, because it's like
Mr. Puyos, at this point in the hearing, what you're able to do is to ask questions of officers.
To ask questions. Got you.
So
Remember,
you'll get a chance at the end to give your closing.
I'm sorry, I haven't become my lawyer. I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's okay.
So Officer DeGray, right?
Yep.
Yes, officer. So just wanted to ask you, when you went to Mattoon Street, were you able to hear the music on that black, her black, the color black?
I could not. No, not from my vehicle on Mattoon.
Got you. Yeah, I don't have no more question. That was the only question. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anything further, Attorney G, for Officer DeGray?
Just one redirect question. Officer DeGray, even though you were not able to hear the music when you were on Mattoon Street, is it a fair statement that you were able to hear the music yourself once you arrived at Chestnut Street?
Yes.
Okay, and the same music that you were able to hear on Chestnut Street, was that the same music that you were able to hear once you arrived at Malecon?
Yes.
No further questions, thank you. So with that, my next witness, I would call Officer Delamarter. Officer Delamarter, can I just ask you to state your name for the record?
Harry Delamarter.
And is it a fair statement that you are an officer with the Springfield Police Department?
Yes,
And how long have you been an officer with the Springfield Police Department?
27 years.
Thank you. And do you recall speaking to Officer DeGray about the call for service to Malecon on March 6th?
I do.
Okay. Officer DeGray just gave a summary of that conversation. Would you say that that's a fair summary of the conversation?
Yes,
Okay. At some point, did you speak with a resident about the call, that same call for service on March 6th?
I did. Although the caller wished to remain anonymous, I recognized the telephone number. I had spoken to her on prior occasions, dating back well over a year, about the same complaints.
Okay. And can you, I'm just going to share that GIS map again. You know what end of, well, let me back up. Is it a fair statement that that caller lives on Mattoon Street?
Yes,
And do you know what end of Mattoon Street she lives on? Is it closer to here where my mouse is, or is it closer to the Chestnut Street area?
it's closer to where your mouse first was, the Salem Street end.
Salem is okay, just to make sure the record is clear. This little street right here, is this Salem?
No, the one that runs the.
Oh, this one right here.
Correct, correct.
Okay, all right. And so just to be clear, so she is sort of at the furthest point away on Mattoon Street from Malecon, that's correct?
Correct.
Okay. And can you tell me what you did about the issues that Officer DeGray raised following your conversation with her?
So I reviewed her body worn camera. I pulled the call for service and I authored a report to the superintendent of police.
Okay. And what if any alleged violations were included in your report?
So one was the violation of the city noise ordinance. There was noise plainly audible beyond 50 feet, amplified music. And the second one was allowing the use of smoking material without the required hookah permit.
Okay. And I think we've already resolved the smoking issue, so I won't address that. But just to make sure we're abundantly clear, in your estimation, would you say that the caller's residence is more than 50 feet away from Malecon Restaurant?
It's well beyond 50 feet.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions for Officer Delamarter.
I do. Talia, on this map, where Pearl Street is, Barry, there's some open parking lots there on Pearl Street. And all these brownstones on Mattoon Street are 2 and 3 stories high. Do you know if the calls, and I don't know if you get more than calls from more than one person, but are they from that side of Mattoon Street, the north side?
I believe we've gotten calls from both sides of the street, not just the northern side, which would be closest to Pearl Street.
And there's nothing blocking the noise because there's open parking lot between them and Malecon.
Correct. On the corner of Pearl and Chestnut, there's buildings. the further you go up Pearl Street, there are a couple of open space parking lots.
Yeah.
There, so you're correct, there's nothing other than that parking lot between the back of the houses on the northern side of Mattoon Street and Pearl Street.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up with Commissioner Signator's questions, would it be a fair statement that the brownstones that are on the side of Mattoon Street that's closest to Malecon, would you say that those are more than 50 feet away from Malecon?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the intersection where Officer DeGray could hear it is on the other side of Appermont Triangle, and that's over 50 feet away.
The parking lots alone are 154 feet on the GIS.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for Officer Delamarter. I believe Mr. Poolhouse has the opportunity for cross-examination.
Yes, I do, Officer Delamar. How are you?
Good.
Officer, good. Officer, I wanted to ask you a question. When you were saying that it has been other people calling about this matter, are you 100% sure about that, or you just throwing a guessing?
No, there's been multiple calling parties. This started, well, I mean, as you know, it was closed for a while, but prior to that, we had numerous calls in emails from residents, not just on Mattoon Street, other locations further north on Chestnut Street, south on Chestnut Street. So there's multiple calling parties. It's not just one calling party.
And they all complaining about music bothering them. Is that what they're calling for?
Correct.
Okay. I got another question. So looks like the only caller we have, like she said before on the phone, that they have a hearing. So I want to make sure this other call go on the record, because they have a hearing coming up again. So my question is,
I'm sorry, I would just object to that characterization. I don't believe that that's what the caller stated. And I think the record can speak for itself.
All right, no problem. All right, no further question. Let's just go forward. And
So it's just questions right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a question, Genesis?
Well, yes. I just wanted to know, basically, the same thing that he was just talking about, how she knows that we had a meeting coming up.
exactly what I was going to ask.
I think this is questions for Officer Delamar. Am I correct, Attorney G?
That's correct. And I don't know that Officer Delamarter, I don't know that I would say it's not appropriate for Officer Delamarter to speak to the mindset or impressions of the caller.
Well, she said it on the call, so I guess we allowed to ask her because we already heard her saying that we had a hearing coming up, so she wanted Officer Delamar to be aware
make
of
sure.
that.
Yeah, to make sure to put it on the record, because we were
That's
going
right. That's right.
Well, right, but I think the point is, though, she wasn't speaking to Officer Delamarta, right? She called in. It was a call for service. So I think it would be, you could pose the question. I think the concern by Attorney G is that how is he going to answer what was in her mind at the time that she called?
And I would also say that today's hearing is about whether or not Malecon violated the noise ordinance. It is not about, who knew about an upcoming hearing.
But that's still coming. I'm sorry, that's still coming on this hearing. So we allowed to ask the question because we all heard it.
Well, I think I think the bigger issue is your sort of questions and comments this evening have suggested some sort of targeting, if you will, I'm using that term loosely, by the person who called and by the neighbors who are complaining and things of that nature. And to be very candid and respectful of your concerns, that's not what tonight's hearing is about.
So
Okay,
the reason why, I'm sorry, the reason why we make the comment is because there have been times that we don't even have the music on and they have still called to complain. So we're just asking because in my opinion, she has like a lot of information and wants to make sure that, okay, I want
that we,
Officer Delamar to make sure
okay,
he puts it on the report. You know, it's not trying to like target or nothing like that. It's just a concern because we have felt for the past months and year that we are being targeted. Like there's
Okay.
always complaints, even when we don't have the music on or even that loud.
Okay, so I know that you guys are representing yourself, so we're, of course, giving you some a little levity in terms of how the hearing is supposed to go. Now, with respect, as I said earlier, with respect to your question about what the caller knew, you can pose that question to Officer Delamarta, and let's hear his response.
Okay, Hennessy, go ahead and ask Officer Delamar.
I already asked. I just wanted to know like how if like every time someone calls, like they know or they're told, oh, they're going besides the commission next week or soon, I will make sure that it goes like on the record. Like, does that happen like all the time? Because I don't understand how she knows that we were going besides the commission.
So if I could just help you along. So I think the question you're asking Officer Delamarta to answer is, how did the caller know that you guys were going before the commission? And how did the caller know that there were, I guess, other incidents? So Officer Delamarta, do you know how the caller had this information?
I don't. At the time, I was not aware of any hearings. They had just gotten their license back. I was not aware of any hearings that were scheduled. This was the first incident after they got their license back.
Okay. Next question.
So clearly, right there, we targeted by that caller.
No.
I would.
We're
sorry,
still on questioning. So I've put your
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Officer Delamarta. So are there any further questions?
No
for
further
Officer
question.
Delamarta? Okay. Ms. Puyos, do you have any further questions?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, Attorney G, are you finished with this witness or?
No, I just have a short redirect for Officer Delamarta, if that's okay. Officer Delamarta, can I just ask you again to state what the noise ordinance is?
So in the case of amplified music, the city noise ordinance states that any noise plainly audible from a distance of 50 feet or greater is excessive.
Okay, and can I, just to be clear, I'm sorry, Attorney Days, I don't know if Officer Delamarta's, I'm calling it a charge letter, but that's probably not the proper term. His letter to the superintendent, who then prefers charges, if that's already a part of the record, or is that something I can enter now?
You can enter it in.
Okay.
I think it's it would be stipulated by the parties that all reports that were written by the officers would be admissible. Is that correct, Mr. Puyos and Ms. Puyos?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna share the screen and go to Officer Delamarta's report. And just bring you down to the section I have sort of highlighted here. So just to be clear, your charges against Malecon from March 6th were related, March 6, 2022 were related to the failure to abide by the city of Springfield's noise ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and just for the record, I know that there was also an issue about smoking material, but that has already been stipulated too. And report is dated March 14th. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, any other witnesses?
No, no other witness. Actually, just to make the record clean, can I just call Genesis Poolhouse as a witness?
Yeah.
Genesis, is it a fair statement that you were not present on March 6, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And is it also a fair statement that you were not within 50 feet of the establishment on that day?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. Any other witnesses? Mr. Puyos and Ms. Puyos, do you have any witnesses or?
No, we don't.
Okay, very good. All right, hearing none. I would suggest that the evidence would close at this point and you guys are allowed to give closing statements.
I'm sorry, Attorney Days. I don't know if the commission would like an actual copy of the noise ordinance or if that's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Who's going to speak on behalf of Malecon?
Me and my sister, Joshua Pujols and Hennessy Pujols.
Okay, we'll hear you.
So, as we all know on this, we've been going through this situation for a long time. We don't want to say that we've been targeted, but it's like this is the way we're feeling already. Either the caller, the police department, or the Liquor License Commission is looking to any possible way to close Malecon down. Any possible way. As you all know, we've been trying to do every little possible thing. We're trying to do it by the law. We're not trying to do anything illegal. All we're trying to do is, make the business keep on going. Like all we're trying to do is work. There we have like over 10 employees. We have my mother, my sister, my other sister, my cousin. It's like a family-owned business, as you guys know. So that is the way we're feeling. Why? Because first, when we received the first notice of going because of the entertainment license, it was something that happened on COVID. That was the matter. That's what we knew about. And then we asked the lawyer, and that's what he confirmed that it was. And then after that, a month later, oh no, it's not because of that. It's gonna be because a noise complaint or whatever incident that happened. So we don't even know what to do at this point. To be real with you guys, we respecting all the attorneys and the officers. At this point, we really looking to sell this business, because if we're gonna be a bother to the community and to the police department, like, we on the point that we are ready to walk away and sell this business if possible, because in reality, we don't want to be in these terms with the commission of the liquor license and the police department and the community. So at this point, we're trying to see what's going to be the resolution. If it's something to be resolved, is now we're just ready to close this down and actually sell it or do whatever and get this over with, because in reality, we already to the point that we can take it no more.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm sorry, Attorney Days, my sister's cell phone actually died.
Okay.
She's back.
So yeah, so
I'm back.
She's here.
oh, she's back. She's back.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Puyos. Ms. Puyos, briefly.
Hennessy,
I'm sorry.
you're allowed to give your statement, whatever you want to say about the situation, whatever is happening, how you feel
Well,
about.
let me just zone you in a little bit, right? We're speaking with respect to the incident that we have been discussing this evening, right? That particular incident. So it's not a time to necessarily give a history, but rather with respect to these facts that were presented and the testimony that was given today, what your closing statement is. So I just want to make sure we narrow in on the issue.
I mean, I don't have much to say, just that we're trying our best, you know, to keep the music as low as possible to not be a bother to the community. We're not luck because even when we do, there are always complaints. So at this point, it's like my brother said, we're probably just gonna have to give up because like we keep trying, but nothing works. And I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Polios. Attorney G, closing.
Thank you, Attorney Days. Tonight's hearing was about two issues. One being the unauthorized use of smoking materials within the establishment, and two about the violation of the noise ordinance, particularly residents being able to hear noise from more than 50 feet away. The parties have already, Malecon has already stipulated to the smoking, so I won't sort of go into detail about that. But what I will do is say that in their closing statement, they just mentioned an attempt to try to do everything to comply. But I think that their actions displayed on the body-worn camera footage that we viewed speak otherwise. We had a caller who was quite a few streets away on Mattoon Street and was able to hear the noise. Now, granted, Officer DeGray was not able to hear the noise from Mattoon Street once she drove down Mattoon Street. She was able to hear the noise from more than 50 feet away when she was on
Chestnut.
on the other side of on Chestnut, thank you, on Chestnut. And so so we have a live witness here that was able to hear the music from more than 50 feet away. As you viewed on the body-worn camera footage, the music was extremely loud. So loud that, to be frank with you, I had difficulty hearing Officer DeGray as she was talking to her partner in the video. And so I would ask you to consider that. I would also ask you to consider the fact that as Ms. Pujols, who's here today, testified, she was not present during the during this response to the call for service, and instead she was not present, and Dominga Pujols was present, and as the manager of record, she's obviously supposed to be there. And so I think that it is clear that from all the evidence that we have reviewed and heard this evening, that that Malecon was in violation of the noise ordinance as well as the rules regarding smoking materials, and ask that you decide accordingly. Thank you.
So, Attorney Days,
Yes.
Attorney G, we open it for the commissioners to ask any questions if they have any?
Yes, you can ask questions and then you can go into deliberation.
I have a question for Josue.
Yes.
Since there have been numerous complaints about the noise issue, I would like to ask, why is the door wide open and there's noise that's emanating from the establishment? It seems like the door would have been closed, but all the 4 minutes on the video, the door stayed open the whole 4 minutes.
Yes, attorney, what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Andrew. Okay.
Attorney Andrew, yes. What happened was that we didn't want to be disrespectful since the officers were standing there. We didn't want to close the door on their face. That's exactly what happened. We actually tell our security, once the police department comes, you got to open that door and let them do whatever they got to do. That's the reason why we didn't close the door on their face and be like, oh, wait for the manager. That's exactly why.
Okay. I do have a question, or perhaps just a reminder that for Genesis, that way back a couple of years ago when she first became the manager of record was because we knew that her mother was not able or available to be there each time. During that time, Genesis became the manager of record. We clearly stated that whenever the manager of record is leaving or not going to be present, that this board should be made aware of that. Sounds like you went on maternity leave, and this board was not aware that there wasn't in fact a manager of record.
I'm sorry, is that a question, Madam Chairwoman, in terms of, is there a question that you can pose?
It's a question. You remember having that conversation with us?
Yes, I do remember. I just thought that if my mother, since she's the owner, was there, like there was no problem if I wasn't there. So that's why I did not make a letter and let you guys know that I was gonna be out.
Okay. Any other questions from the commissioners?
The door was closed when the officer approached the bar. However, the officer did state that as soon as she rounded the corner from Mattoon Street onto Chestnut, she was able to hear the music. So I want to make sure we don't lose sight of that. It became much louder when the door was open, obviously, but she was able to hear it from Chestnut, from the corner of Mattoon, which is several hundred yards away.
So are we, just to make sure we stay focused, so are there any other questions, or are we now moving into deliberation?
I have no questions.
Okay.
I think we're moving into deliberation right now.
Very good. Okay.
Okay.
I have a question for Attorney Days.
Yes.
This is a hearing on the violation of March 6th, and we
That's
have
correct.
another the same violations for 6 weeks later on April 21st. So we're making a decision tonight, right now, on the March 6th violation. Is it only? Is that correct?
That's correct. You're not considering any other violation. This is a snapshot in time, right?
Yes,
So you're
ma'am.
considering the March 6th incident only.
Yes.
Okay.
So the licensee is not contesting the fact that they were allowing hookah to be smoked on the premises. So that is one violation that they are stipulating to. And since the officer could hear the music playing from the end of Mattoon Street, I would say that qualifies as a second violation, that being the failure to abide by the noise ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Signator. Anyone else have any comments or?
I think I echo Commissioner Signator's concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments or deliberation? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, Madam Chairwoman.
I make a motion. Is this a time for me to make a motion?
It is.
It is, okay. So I make a motion that, actually, can I go back and talk to the commissioners? So if we are going to make a motion that this did happen, Are we?
That's the first motion you're gonna do. And then from there, you can move to penalty.
To the penalty, okay. So I make a motion that, how should my motion read? I'm sorry, that,
2 violations, yeah.
2 violations.
Malecon has, 2 violations for, one being allowing the use of smoking material without requires, smoking bar permit, violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 270, Section 22, and number 2, failure to abide by Springfield, noise ordinance.
Second.
I'm sorry, just to be clear that we're only talking about the March 6th. I think that that should be part of the motion.
Okay,
I
and this
apologize.
is for the incident on March 6th, 2022.
Correct.
Okay, Peter, you second that?
Look at ma'am.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, so now in terms of the
Penalty.
penalty,
Yes, Madam Chair, I have before me the violation history of Malecon, and I would ask that I be allowed to read that into the record.
could you please? Thank you.
Sure. It begins on May 26, 2016. There was an arrest in front of Malecon Restaurant. The decision by the commission was that no violation be found. 2017, April 9th, the allegation is open after 10 p.m., no manager of record on scene, and exceeding their total capacity of 66. At that point, on June 30th, 2017, they were given a 1-day suspension. 2018, July 2nd, 2018, remaining open after 12 a.m. The decision on 8/30, 2018 was a 2-day suspension to be held in abeyance for 1 year for staying open after 12 a.m. And then the commission further gave them a directive that they needed to file a change of manager by September 17th of 2018. On September 9th, 2018, the allegation is that there was an allowance of the use of smoking material without the required smoking bar permit. At that point, the commission gave them a 5-day suspension, 1 day to serve, the balance to be held in abeyance for 1 year. And 2 days held in abeyance, 2 days to be served as well for the previous violation. So it seems to me that the prior days held in abeyance, the 2 days as a result of the decision from 8/30, 2018 were imposed after the violation they were found to be in violation on September 9th of 2018. 2020, failure to call the police to report a disturbance and failure to abide by the city's noise ordinance. There was a decision on October 14th, 2021 that allowed for a 15-day suspension with 13 to be served. Those were served from October 23rd, 2020 until November 4th, 2020, and 2 were held in abeyance for a period of 1 year. Next we have, and I'm sorry, I'm going out of order, it appears. It appears that, I can have a second, it's 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, the decision was on 10/14/2020, because that makes sense. I think this is a Scrivener's error because the days served were in 2020, so the decision couldn't have been on 10/14/2021, but rather 10/14/2020. It appears that we heard another violation on that occurred on July 12th, 2020, and that alleges that there was an allowance of the use of smoking materials without a permit, failure to abide by the city's noise ordinance, failure to abide by current COVID-19 guidelines, and that was exceeding the maximum capacity allowed, and patrons were not seated or wearing masks. It looks like on 10/14/2020, in collaboration with the other violation, it was given, the same sentence was given to be served concurrently. So let me just clarify that. That also included a 15-day suspension, 13 to be served, and 2 to be held in abeyance. And that was in concurrent with the violation of October 14th, 2020. Is that clear? Does that make sense? September 5th, 2020, failure to call the police to report a disturbance. That was dismissed on February 24th, 2021. December 25th, 2020, failure to call the police to report a disturbance, failure to provide adequate security, armed patrons entering the premises. On April 28th, 2021, after review of the violation history of the licensee, the commission motioned to revoke the liquor license for Malecon.
Objection in that.
Yeah, okay, well, let me finish. I'm getting there. This
Just
went
so-
up to, this went on appeal to the ABCC, and they rescinded the revocation and remanded it back to the Liquor License Commission. In essence, we were at, well, the commission at that point had to provide the license back to Malecon as a result of the ABCC's decision. And that concludes the history for Malecon. So they, that would conclude the history.
So Attorney Days, there seems as though there's nothing in abeyance right now.
That's correct.
Okay.
So our guidelines begin with a 5-day suspension with days to be held in abeyance or served. One of the violations is for use of smoking materials without a permit, and I see from July of 2020 they had the same violation. So they apparently haven't gotten the message that they can't do that. So I would weigh that heavily in deciding how many days they are to serve.
Any suggestions, Peter?
I would say, well, they haven't learned their lesson with the smoking material. I would say 5 days to be served.
Commissioners?
We
Any other
doing
commissioners?
individual violation?
I'm sorry.
we
Commissioner
doing-
Cade, I'm sorry, clarify.
Are we doing each individual violation? We're going to give a penalty for the noise and a penalty for the smoking? There's two separate entities?
We could do
Yes,
that.
they're two different violations, correct?
Okay, it's about two different violations. Okay.
3 days for the smoking and 2 days for the noise.
So in your 5 days, you have both violations, Peter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Unless you're
So
suggesting.
Peter, I'm
Yeah.
just going to say, Peter, just to be clear, it's 5 days each, right? With 2 on one and 3 on the other.
Total 5.
And the balance is held in abeyance?
Oh, are you suggesting a 10?
I'm not
total?
suggesting anything, I just want to be
yeah.
clear.
I do, me too. So Andrew, are you suggesting?
Yeah, because we indicated that we're doing both separate. So the first one would be the smoking. Is that a 5-day suspension? With how many in abeyance?
Well, how about a 2-day suspension with 3 in abeyance? And then, on the smoking, 3 days suspension, 2 held in abeyance, and on the noise, a 2-day suspension with 3 held in abeyance.
Okay.
So 5 held in abeyance and 5 to be served.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let me just make sure I'm clear. So 5.
It's 5
5
and
days,
5 actually.
5 days, first count, 5-day suspension, 2 to be served, 3 to be held in abeyance? Or
Yes.
Okay.
3 to be served on the smoking, 3 to
Okay.
be served, 2 held in abeyance.
Mhm.
And on the noise,
Wait 1 second. 2 to be held. Okay.
and on the
And
noise.
then on the noise, just the opposite,
opposite.
basically, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
That's correct.
very
Correct.
good. Okay,
Correct.
so that would leave a total to serve of 5 and 5 to be held in abeyance for a period of 1 year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio, Commissioner Ramirez, do you have any suggestions?
I'm in agreement with Commissioner Signator's recommendation.
Okay. John, you're thinking heavily.
I was more looking at it,
Oh, I think you were talking to me.
at a 3 and 3. 3 to be served on each one for a total of 6 days and 2 to be in advance. Because this is, it seems to be an ongoing situation with them from, was it 4 or 5 years? So maybe I'm wrong on the year amount. I think we're a little bit lenient on this situation. I think I feel something to be a little bit more severe than a 3 and 2.
I defer to Commissioner Ramirez.
You're suggesting 3 and 3, John?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so with that being said, though, there's a motion on the floor, and the motion was Peter's motion.
I withdraw.
Thank you very much, sir.
So I
John, you want to make that motion?
Motion for a 3 and 3, 3 on each on smoking, 3 on the noise ordinance, and 2 to be in advance for. Do we have to do a year, or can we do a 6 months?
We do not have to do a year.
So why can't we do it 6 months?
Well,
So
you can do, if I could just clarify, you can do 6 months, but again, we are a board of progressive discipline, right? So in essence, you've had previous abeyances for a year. So,
okay.
I mean, it looks like all the abeyances have been for a year, from what I can tell.
And my recommendation is we stay with the year.
Okay, I amend my motion to that. 3, 3, 2, and 2 with a year.
Okay.
I concur. Maria?
I concur as well.
Me too. Okay, so, John, that's a motion.
Yes.
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Kay,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So we have 6 days total to be served, and when?
right. Do we, looking at the calendar here, are we going to do the 6 altogether, or are we going to do 3 and 3 like we've done in the past in terms of weekends?
I would say 3 and 3.
I concur.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
And keep in mind, Alicia has to write the letter, so give her time.
Okay, so Attorney Days, would
Yes.
Next weekend be good, or do you prefer the end of July?
No, next weekend can start. It can be those two weekends there.
So the other question is, do we want to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I was thinking Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I second that.
Okay.
We can go
Okay.
with that. Yep. That's a good.
So that would be the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and the 28th, 29th, 30th.
Correct.
Yep.
We make a motion on that, Attorney Days?
Yes, please.
Okay, I make a motion that Samaya Restaurant, DBA Malecon Restaurant, serve a 6-day suspension starting on July 21st, July 22nd, July 23rd, July 28th, July 29th, July 30th, 2022.
With 4 days held in abeyance for
With 4 days held in advance for a year.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Okay, thank you. And we have reached some of our last ones, believe it or not. So there is another pretrial, and the allegation is failure to abide by Springfield noise ordinance, and that's on May 27th, 2022. So Mr.
I'm
Puyos.
sorry, Attorney Days. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I just want to be clear that you no longer need Officer DeGray.
No, all set. Thank you so much, officer, for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I guess I can also leave as well. Forgot
No,
about
you're
that.
not allowed. You need to stay.
Nice try.
Yes, you are free to go. Thank you,
Okay.
Attorney G.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you,
we have-
Attorney G.
Alicia, we have a final violation for Malecon for April. Who is gonna
Yeah,
do that?
I'm
Are
gonna
you-
come to that, but that's gonna be
Oh,
continued. Yeah,
okay.
so I just want to deal with, so the next one, so I'll come back to that, Commissioner Signator.
Okay.
So the incident of May 27th, 2022 that alleges a failure to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance. Mr. Puyos and Ms. Puyos, with respect to that count, how are you moving forward? Do you want to admit to the violation, or do you want that set up for for a final hearing?
Now that we actually working on this, will you guys be able to count it as the same? Like we've been closed from the 21st to the 30th so far, right?
Well, no, actually, you're closed for the weekends, right?
Yeah, the weekends. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You
So
can be open Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
okay, yeah, but we close on Monday through Wednesdays.
Okay, yep, so so your question is whether or not, what?
My question, Attorney Days, was if now that we already working on this, we just want to like get all this over with. We plead guilty to that one. And if you guys want to give us 5 days close for that one, and we just close close it down so we don't have nothing more to come in front of the board.
Okay, well, that's, you can do that, right? But there's still one more out there, and the other one is scheduled for final hearing, and that one is dated actually before this one. So this is on April 21st, 2022, and it alleges, the use of smoking material, and again, a failure to abide by the noise ordinance. So those are the two that are still remaining for you. One on for pre-trial hearing of the date of May 27th, 2022, and the other one is from April 21st, 2022. So correct me if I'm wrong, are you suggesting that you want to try to resolve both matters to conclude
Correct.
everything tonight? Okay.
Correct. If we can take, we can do 30 days close just to, because we understand we make our mistakes. So we want to be closed 30 days and be able to resolve all of this. And that way we don't have to keep coming in front of the board. And if we're going to sell, we sell. And if not, we're just going to have to either knock down those speakers and not do any nightlife anymore. We don't want to be going back and forth with you guys. We want to be on a good behavior.
Okay, I would just caution you, okay, so commissioners, you've heard that, and I, just as a side note, there was an entertainment hearing held, so remember, that hasn't been ruled on yet. Well, it's been, so you've got that one's outstanding too, so you want to, I just want to make sure you're aware of everything that's before you. So that's separate and distinct from the Liquor Commission. You know, you can enter in, but be mindful that, you know, that has yet to, you know, the penalty has been yet to be meted out for that. So
And
keep that in
and
mind.
I thought that one was over. Or we're gonna go to jail.
No, we can't send you to jail. We don't have that capability. Don't worry about that. Your liberty is not going to be taken. That's for sure. But
we have
those days are
so much
long
stuff.
gone for me. So, so with that being said, how do you wish to proceed? Do you want to try to wrap up the other two for the Liquor Commission?
Yeah, we let's just try to wrap it up and see if we can start like on a new beginning and not have to go through this ever again.
Okay, Commission hearing, Mr. Puyos, what would be your pleasure? What would be your offer?
Since he is stipulating both violations for both incidents, can we duplicate what we've just done previously for the two violations for each incident?
I think it'll probably be just around the same number, because if they're going to serve 6 and then 4 and we do the same thing over again, that'll be what, 12 days and plus the other 8 days.
Well, they have 6 to serve right now. If we duplicate what we just did, if the suggestion is 6 more days to be served, they would have 4 and 1 that we just put in abeyance to serve as well. So that'd be 10 days to be served and 4 more to be held in abeyance. Is that what we're suggesting?
Well, technically, wouldn't they
12.
have to serve the other 2 that are being held?
Yes, so if we do the same thing again, we give them 6 days, it would be 6 days plus the 4 that we just gave them in abeyance. So that would be.
Well, let me ask a question though. Are those violations, the abeyance, is that for new incidents that we start from this day moving forward, or do we go back to old violations?
No, good question. So it would be from the day of the decision. So it would
That's
be
right.
from today forward.
Right, absolutely. So we don't have to worry about going back to those abeyances.
So won't we just duplicate what we just did?
Well, that's my recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a total of how many days served? 10
Nope.
days served.
That'd be a total of 12.
It would be a total, it would be a total of 12 days, sir.
12 days?
Right, because it'll be the
And full
6
time
and
three
the
is 12.
6.
So 6 and 6.
The 12.
And another 6, right? No, another 3.
Another 3, because there's only 1 violation for that.
No, he wants to wrap up. So if he wraps up, there's 2 cases, right? The 5/27, 2022, as well as the 4/21 that's on for pre-trial.
Also, there'll be another 6.
Yeah, so Mr. Puyos, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's suggesting, how do I wrap it all up tonight? So
yes, I am.
the matters will just be resolved.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, Mr. Puyos, there is, there's still days hanging, right? So you're wrapping it up tonight, but any further incidents would bring those
Yes.
other days back to you that are being held.
I understand the one on the bank, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Correct. I understand.
Okay, very good.
So we have 3 more violations, right? 2 from
2.
April and 1 from May.
No, you have 1 left from
No.
May,
May.
and you have 1 left from April.
April.
And well, there's 2 violations on the April one though. Right?
Right, the same as.
Yeah.
And on the May one, there's 1 violation.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we do what we just did, 3 days for each violation in April, that's 6 days.
Right.
And 3 days for the violation from May, that's 3 days.
9.
All right, 6, 7, 8, 9 more days to be served.
Mhm.
And then 2 days held in abeyance for each one of those, which is 2, 4, 6 more days held in abeyance.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
That's correct.
Okay. So do we want to just keep rolling with the 3-day weekends until we run out of days?
Yes.
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 So
So it looks like it's 15 days, isn't it? 15 days total?
I don't know why I had 18. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
because
there would be 2 on the one
Nine.
with 2 counts and 1 on the one with
Right.
1 count.
and we already have 6 already.
Right.
So we
That's
would total
correct.
15.
So,
So that is 15?
15 total to be served.
Okay.
At least,
So-
am I, we right about that? 15
Yes.
total to be served?
Mhm.
All right, so 1, 2,
So if
3.
we go down to August 4th, 5th, and 6th,
August 4, 5, 6, August 11, 12, 13, and August 18, 19, 20. 3, 4, 5, 6,
okay.
9.
So,
And
and-
then,
Yeah.
oh, that's only 9, right? That's right. No, that's not right.
No, because remember, we,
That's 9. That's correct.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that's
remember,
9.
there's one violation with 2 counts and 1 violation with 1 count. So
Right, that's right.
6 and 3 is 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So,
So in light of what they're off, did I lose Mr. Puya?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Ms.
okay,
Ace.
very good. Okay, so in light of what the commission has suggested, are you willing to accept that? So that would be, just so we're all clear, it would be 5 days. Well, we did the previous one already. So just with respect to the alleged violation occurring on April 21st, 2022, 2 counts. On each count, the commission is suggesting 5 days, 3 days to serve on each count. So 5 on count 1, 5 on count 2. Each count, 3 days to be served for a total of 6 days. And the other 4 will be held in abeyance. With respect to May 27th, 2022, there's 1 count. The commission is offering 5 days, 3 days suspension, 2 days to be held in abeyance for a period of 1 year. So, and they're suggesting that you serve those suspensions on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. July, going back to the other one, July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, July 28th, 29th, and 30th, August 4th, 5th, and 6th, August 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then lastly, August 18th, 19th, and 20th. Do you accept the commission's recommendation?
We accept.
Okay, so is there a motion on the floor with respect to those 2 matters?
Okay. Peter, you want to go ahead with that motion?
with respect to the Malecon violation from May 27th, 2022, and for August or April 21st, 2022, the violation, I propose the violation be a suspension served on August 4th, 5th, and 6th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
No,
18th.
11. Sorry, go back. 11, 12, and
11th,
13.
12th, and 13th, and 18th, 19th, and 20th, with 6 additional days held in abeyance for 1 year. Do I hear a second?
Second. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay,
And Ms. Johnson, thanks for attending. Ms. Johnson is a resident
Thank you.
in the area.
I have, there's also been, at least one other person on the phone with one of the
Oh.
iPhones is another resident, so.
Okay,
thank
very
you.
good. Thank you for
Thank you.
attending.
Thank you
We
for
will
being
pass
here.
on this information.
Okay.
And
you.
we welcome the restaurant being a responsible neighbor and hope in the future, when they hear that it's too loud, they actually will then just respect that we feel that the music is too loud. That's what we have not liked, is they have not respected that our opinion of what is too loud.
Understood.
Well,
And we.
the good news is it's
that
dictated
respect.
by an ordinance, right? So that
That's
tells
right.
us what is appropriate. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Right.
Appreciate your presence.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, good night.
Okay.
Okay, folks, it is 8:36 in the evening.
Wow.
How long is one?
Time flies when we're having fun now,
Oh,
doesn't
is
it?
that what it is? You call it fun?
Malecon, we're done.
Yeah, we're all
I
set.
thought it
Thank
was like 6
thank-
p.m. right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Well,
though.
attorneys, we want to say I'm sorry because all this headache, and we also want to thank you for the consideration.
You're welcome.
All right,
Have a
thank
good
you.
night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
too.
Hope not to come on this Zoom again to come against you.
We would love not to see you.
Right.
No, definitely not.
Love not to
Thank
see
you guys. You guys have a good day.
Okay,
You
you
too.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye. God bless.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
so we are
Okay.
left with, we have a couple of things to do. We have administrative reports and the farmer series pouring permit. And I'll be candid with you, I can't remember where I left off with that, to be honest with you.
We were going to city council, right?
Yeah, but I think we needed something in writing for the city council.
Oh.
Let me just see. I'm gonna have to listen to but I think I think what it was is you had to vote formally on a fee. Then we send it to city council.
And
So
they
you
have
need
to
to
vote
vote.
on it.
Yeah, you need to have a vote on the amount of fee. We kind of did it backwards, actually, to be quite frank with you. I mean,
But the
that was
question
supposed to be
was,
done before we,
yeah, but I think the question was too, how did we come up with the original?
right,
Right.
considering that the other seasonal licenses were $950 and
Right.
they were $500. Oh, I know. It's coming back to me now. So Anna called the ABCC today. Does anybody, who's Tom? Does anybody know why Tom's iPhone is attempting to enter?
Tom.
Okay, they're gone. So. Okay. So, she called the ABCC today to ask them if there were limitations with respect to how much alcohol that they could sell. Because I think that was, I think, Peter, you brought that up, like that they also, because they were limited in the amount of alcohol that they could sell. So that's what we had to get clarity on, whether or not that was accurate. I know they can only sell their stuff, but if they're not limited, then.
Their own beer.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so let's table that, and I apologize, but I'll send an email around once I get a definitive answer from Ralph Sacramone with respect to that.
There is just for your information, there is a farmer series pouring permit, a new one in East Long Meadow, and their fee is $500 there as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they followed us. Line leading the blind, I would imagine. I imagine that's how that happened.
Actually, they called me, one of the town councilors from East Long Meadow called me about it, and we didn't have rustic then. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
And
so they were first, so did
they
we
were
copy
first.
them?
Yeah, we copied them.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, let's we'll get some clarity on that. So with respect to the administrative reports, can we go through those fairly quickly? Did everybody have an opportunity to take a look?
Yes.
Okay, so Benton Park Package Store arrest on June 26, 2022. What's your pleasure?
Take no action.
No action.
Action, same guy.
Okay, can we,
Make a motion
that?
to take no action. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Next,
Delecias.
Delecias.
Make a motion for a pre-hearing conference. Do I hear a
Yes.
second?
No,
No.
we're gonna have you recused. Let's,
Oh,
Oh, still?
Make a motion
Yeah.
for pre-hearing conference.
okay. Who seconds that?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
okay, and Peter, we'll talk about that offline.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Number 3, Del Rey Taqueria,
Make a motion to take no action.
no action.
I agree. No action.
Okay,
I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
okay, lastly, Frank's Package Store, rest of June 27th, 2022.
Make a motion to take no action.
No.
It's the same guy who's always getting arrested there, right?
Is there a second?
Second?
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
There we go.
So, with that
Well,
being said,
Wait,
oh,
I just want to bring something, what happened earlier. Proudy was accidentally somehow, she became the host. So when she got off, that's how all of us got disconnected.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you know what?
and
I
you
didn't do
figured
it.
that out, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't
what
do
happened
it.
was, what happened, I seen that Proudy hosting and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened there? And then when we dismissed all of them, she got off and that's how all of us got disconnected.
Oh
'Cause she was
my.
the host.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
No,
didn't mean to do, actually, I don't even know how to do that because remember I had to have Talia tell me how to make her the host, so.
Right.
Yeah, well, you know, you guys have been troopers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
We
much.
haven't had a meeting this long in a long time, and I'm praying that it'll be another long time before we have a meeting this long. So,
Hope so.
okay. Thank you so much.
Chad hasn't been.
Everybody.
One second, I make a motion to adjourn at 8:42 PM.
Second?
I object. Let's stay another hour now.
So- Good night,
Thanks, you
everyone.
guys.
Night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you.